Welcome back to the MA English Cafe, everyone. Today, we're tackling a topic that many of us, myself included, find surprisingly difficult. The art of asking for help. It's okay to not know. Ben, are you a master of asking for help, or do you fall into the I'll just figure it out myself, eventually camp?
Oh, Jenny, you've hit a nerve. I'm definitely in the eventually camp. My personal motto used to be, if I can't do it alone, I must be doing something wrong. It's like there's this invisible badge of honor for being the solo hero, right? I mean, why do people find it so difficult to ask for help? For me, it was always that fear of appearing weak. Like, if I admit I don't know something, suddenly I'm less capable, less intelligent.
Exactly. That fear of appearing weak is huge. It's often rooted in embarrassment, isn't it? We worry about what others will think or that we'll be judged for not knowing something that seems obvious to everyone else. But what if I told you that asking for help is actually a sign of strength, not weakness?
Impossible. My internal monologue screams, figure it out, Ben. Don't look like an idiot. It's like an inner drill sergeant who's never had to ask for directions. I once spent 2 hours assembling a flat-pack wardrobe, convinced I didn't need the instructions. It ended up looking like a modern art sculpture, very wobbly. That was certainly an embarrassing situation that could have been avoided by simply asking for help or reading the manual.
Oh, Ben, I've been there with the furniture, and that's a perfect example. We often waste so much time and energy struggling alone when a quick question could save us hours of frustration. This applies massively to our English learning journey, too. How many times have you been stuck on a grammar point or an idiom and just kept staring at it?
Guilty as charged. Sometimes I'd spend ages trying to decipher a complex sentence, convinced if I just stared at it long enough, the English comprehension would magically click. Meanwhile, a quick question to a native English speaker or a fellow learner could have clarified it in seconds. It's like we forget that the goal is English fluency, not suffering in silence.
And that's where the psychological and practical benefits of asking for help come in. Psychologically, it reduces stress, builds connection, and normalizes vulnerability. Practically, it saves time, helps you learn faster, and opens doors to new solutions you might not have thought of on your own. It actually boosts your English skills more quickly.
So by admitting I don't know, I'm not only getting the answer, but I'm also somehow improving my well-being and becoming a better learner? That sounds like a cheat code.
It's not a cheat code, Ben. It's smart living. And it's especially true in English practice. If you don't understand a phrase or a word, how can you expect to use it correctly in English conversation? Asking builds your English vocabulary and makes your pronunciation clearer because you're clarifying.
I guess I always thought if I didn't get it immediately, I wasn't cut out for it. Especially with academic English or business English terms where everything feels so formal and precise.
That's a common misconception. Even the most successful people ask for help. It's about recognizing your limitations and leveraging the strengths of others. Think of it as teamwork, even if it's just a quick question. For our listeners, if you're finding this topic relatable, please hit that like button right now. It really helps us know what content resonates with you.
And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the MA English channel. Join our growing community of English learners who are bravely embracing the art of asking for help. We've got so many more helpful English lessons coming your way to help you improve English and boost fluency.
So we've talked about why we avoid asking for help and why we should. Now let's get into the practical side. Polite and effective English phrases for asking for help in various contexts. Because there's a right way and a wrong way to ask, isn't there, Ben?
Oh, absolutely. You can't just storm up to someone and demand answers. I mean, unless you're my cat, then yes, demands are acceptable. But for humans, politeness is key. So what are some of those magic words for everyday English?
For general, less urgent help, you can start with, could you possibly help me with? Or, would you mind giving me a hand with? These are very polite. For example, "Excuse me, would you mind giving me a hand with this heavy box?"
Okay, that's much better than my usual, little help here when I'm struggling. What about in a work context, like if I'm stuck on a report?
In a business English or professional setting, try, "Could you spare a moment to clarify?" Or, "I'm having a bit of trouble with X. Could you offer some guidance?" This shows you've tried first and respect their time. For example, "Could you spare a moment to clarify the instructions for this new software?"
That's much more polished. It sounds like I'm seeking advice, not just admitting defeat. It makes you speak confidently in English, even when you're asking for help.
Exactly. And when it comes to your English learning, particularly when you're doing English practice or study English, don't be afraid to use phrases like, "Could you explain what this word means?" Or, "I'm not sure I understand this grammar rule. Could you rephrase it?" Or even, "Could you correct my pronunciation here?"
That last one is crucial. My accent sometimes makes me hesitant, but if I use a polite phrase like that, it opens the door for accent reduction tips without making me feel self-conscious. It's truly a daily English necessity for ESL and EFL learners.
And always, always include please and thank you. Simple, but incredibly powerful. Even for beginner English learners, these are fundamental English phrases. Remember, you're not just asking for help, you're building healthy relationships and trust.
What about those embarrassing situations that could have been avoided by asking for help? Any good stories, Jenny?
Well, there was the time I was trying to navigate a new city using only my internal compass, which it turns out is terribly broken, and ended up walking in circles for an hour, passing the same very confused pigeon. A quick, "Excuse me, could you point me towards the museum?" would have saved me blistered feet and the pigeon's judgment.
I once tried to prepare a surprise birthday cake for my sister. I decided not to ask for the recipe because I wanted it to be my creation. Let's just say the smoke alarm joined the celebration and the cake looked like a collapsed science experiment. A simple, "How much baking powder should I add?" would have been revolutionary.
See? These are the moments where our pride gets in the way of common sense. It's relatable and shows why asking for help is a social skill as much as it is a practical one. It's about being effective in real-life English examples.
And it helps you avoid common English mistakes too. If you're unsure about an English expression or how to use a certain idiom, just ask. Don't guess and make a hilarious but potentially awkward error.
So, as we wrap up this episode, Ben, what's your biggest takeaway about the art of asking for help? Have we converted you from your solo hero ways?
I wouldn't say I'm completely cured of my figure it out yourself tendency, but I'm definitely more open to it. I think the biggest realization for me is that it's not about being weak. It's about being smart and efficient. It's about recognizing that everyone has strengths, and sometimes your strength is knowing when to lean on someone else's. And that's a powerful communication skill.
Exactly. And for all our listeners on their English learning journey, remember that asking for help is a sign of resilience. It shows you're committed to your English fluency and that you're willing to do what it takes to boost your fluency. Don't let the fear of appearing weak hold you back from making progress.
Think of all the amazing English vocabulary and English phrases you'll pick up just by clarifying things. It's like unlocking new levels in your English skills. Your English conversation will become so much richer when you're confident enough to ask questions.
And it builds social confidence too. When you practice asking for help politely, you're not only getting information, but you're also strengthening your relationships and making connecting with people easier. It's a core part of conversational English and everyday English.
So if you're struggling with a tough grammar rule, or maybe even trying to assemble some particularly tricky flat pack furniture, remember this episode. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to ask.
And it leads to so many practical benefits: less stress, faster learning, and more successful outcomes. It's about moving past awkward silence and embracing growth.
We truly hope this episode has helped you feel more comfortable and confident in reaching out. Every question you ask is a step forward in your Learn English journey.
Thank you so much for joining us at the MA English Cafe today. We love hearing from you.
What's one specific thing you've learned from this episode that you'll try to apply in your daily English practice? Let us know in the comments below. We're always eager to hear your experiences.
Keep learning, keep asking, and keep improving. See you next time.